What's up, fellow filmmaking friends? Josh here with Runningscaredmotionpictures, and I'm beyond excited because today with me I have
Holden.
Connor. It's great to have you on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So I'm really excited about this episode because typically I have your typical actors, directors, cinematographers on. You do something a little bit different that I don't think a lot of people in this area do.
I do animation.
You do? What is your show? Tell us a little bit about it, please.
So on 4/20/26 on YouTube, I got season 2 of my cartoon called Ochre High, which is about a group of teenagers who get in trouble. It's all based on my life in the early 2010s.
That's awesome. What got you into animation?
So I've always loved cartoons. I've watched them forever, Simpsons, South Park, all that. I was always drawing. I've been drawing since as long as I can remember. And it was around COVID when we were all like, doing nothing and trying to figure shit out. I started just drawing stuff. And then I started to look into, I was doing a lot of graphic stuff, a lot of like moving things around. And when I realized, that's all it is. You're just moving pictures. And then I just kind of played with that until I kind of figured something out. And then I kind of just self-taught myself.
Have you always been artistic?
Always.
Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me like drawing is a lot about understanding techniques and concepts. And if you can understand that, you can draw. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, as a kid, my mom was a really good drawer. She was the class artist in her high school. So I used to always be like, Mom, draw me this. And she would do it. And I started learning. I would put a picture, like I have my DVDs of like Tom and Jerry or something, and I would like just look at the DVD and draw Tom just from looking at it. So I kind of use that kind of muscle memory. Like some characters, like I could draw Bart Simpson right now from memory. Homer I can draw, and sometimes like if I'm at a bar on a napkin, I'll do something with a friend, and it's it's for some people it's hard, but I mean for me, like throwing a football was hard. I wasn't good at the sports. I liked the drawing. I liked just learning that. So now it just kind of becomes, just more natural to me.
So I guess what's kind of cool is before you even start animating, you have to have every character designed, every building that they're in, all of that stuff. So can you talk a little bit about what it entails to make those assets and things?
Yeah, well, with this show, I literally did it like scene by scene as you watch it is how it was made. I didn't really know how long it would be, so I just would write a scene and be like, okay, you start with one. That's what I say. Like, what does the poster look like? What's the intro look like? And once you have that, you can kind of just keep building. So I like to, the way I do it is I will write on my notes, like the scene, have the characters talk, and if there's a big line, that means it's a cut. That means it's going to go to a new shot, and that kind of helps me figure that out. And I drew all the characters out, and just kind of like, with this show, you draw them, their bodies, their heads, and their heads are blank, and the arms are all separate. So, and I just do one layer where it's the face, one where it's the arms, and you draw someone, and you have them going like this in place, and then you put it in the scene and you move them. So now he's running across the frame, and it's just basically shit like that. And yeah.
That's awesome. So you had mentioned you have season 2 getting ready to come out?
Yep, this 4/20. It's a continuation. Each season is 6 episodes, each 10 minutes long. I like that. It's like SpongeBob. I think that trims the fat. Some shows like Family Guy and Simpsons are 26 minutes, and then 4 minutes for the commercials, pretty much. So with this, I like that you can just kind of easy to get through, and the way it is, it's very fast. It's just one character comes in, another goes out, one person falls down, then one person screams, and then next scene, and you just kind of move on. And I like doing that, and I think I'm gonna go for 3 seasons pretty much, and and just see what happens with it. I liked the response I got from the first season. Some of it was So the show Ochre High is based on the high school I went to, because we were called the Ochres. I won't say what high school it is, but people can figure it out. But it's so I like that some people from my past really liked it, but then there was new people who were like, oh, well, what is this? And it's fun to be able to say, like, this was my life, this was my friends, this was literally how they acted, how they dressed, what we did. All the stories are all true. Like the first episode is all about me and my friends trying to find the new smoking spot because we keep getting caught. And it's like, that was a real thing. And then the next episode, it's about us cutting class to go to King Munchies. We went to Burger King, and One is about I don't know, when you were in high school, did you have like in school suspension?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I graduated in '04. I'm a dinosaur.
Okay, well, I graduated 2014, so that's and in school suspension. Like I make the episode like it's jail, like and like we're literally we all have chains on and we got the stripes, and I just try to like it's real, but it's not like my principal, played by Chris Salvi. Like I'll be outside smoking and he'll drive by, grab me by my hair, and then throw me in the window and in detention. Like, did that happen? Well, yeah, but not exactly like that, and just exaggerated. And what's most fun about it is like the school itself and the characters all look exactly like it. So it really, for me, like to do it, like you have to find something that you enjoy doing. And for me, I always wanted to see my life as a cartoon, and my friends always did. And I used to draw my friends. That was the fun we did. I would draw us on my notebook when I was supposed to be studying, and my friends always said this should be a show one day, and I was like, oh, it will. So, and I do all the voices, and that trailer I just showed you, each friend is me, and I have at my work I have like my own rooms. I just take my microphone and I just kind of do it one at a time, and then just splice it all together, and then I have people come on, like Chris Salvi, he sent me his voice, and Tori Jock, who does the theme song, she played someone in the prom episode, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's fun for people who haven't done it because they're just like, oh, what do? I say, you do it, and I animate around your performance. Like, you can't be wrong, and it's a lot of fun.
You just killed it. And like, honestly, like, thank you for what you just said in like the monologue to this, because honestly, like, you just showed how much work goes into your art, why you do your art, why it's personal to you. Like, that's what I want to show off on the show. That's what I think is important. It's, we get to see the work, and it's like, okay, you see the trailer, you see the show, you watch the 10 minutes, but it is weeks, months, years of effort that goes into this. Not even just the project you're currently working on, but like to learn all that stuff, to learn animation, and then to like have the drive to actually go forward with it and put yourself out there. Like, it's a big like task. So honestly, kudos to you for like being brave enough, being passionate enough to actually go out there and do it, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have thought exactly like you, like, oh, I should, and then they just don't. But you did. And to see your animation, like I said, I haven't seen anything else like that, from like this level in this area out there like that. So it's super cool, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. If people wanted to get caught up on season 1 before season 2 drops, where could they go and see that?
If you go to youtube.com/@ochre season 1's on there, 6 episodes, and then this April we'll get 6 more.
The link will be in the description below, so if you want to check it out, you can go down there and do that as well. So I talked to you a little bit earlier because I wasn't sure if you were just an animator, but you had mentioned there's a few other things you do. You want to elaborate on those a little bit?
So I'm also an actor. I do mostly horror comedies, and I've been on a couple ID shows and like crime reenactments, and lately my typecast seems to be the douchebag. So love doing that. The first movie I did in 2021 was called Horny Teenagers Must Die, and you can imagine what that's about. And then after that, I got another one called The Art of Killing, which is what if Bob Ross was a murderer? And that's going to be coming out soon. It's like an 80s throwback. And then just had one come out called The Inn, which was made by the Greasy Boys. And they're these talented guys from Florida. And that's all about a serial killer who comes to room 6 at motels and kills people. And it's kind of like Clerks meets Friday the 13th. And so I really, really like this era. I feel like when I was young in the 2010s, and I thought comedy was so big, and I'm hoping it comes back, but it seems like horror has come in and is like more people liked Terrifier than Joker 2. Like, like this little indie, well, it wasn't indie, Terrifier 3 comes out and everyone thought it was better than Joker Folie à Deux for many reasons. Cause I think a lot of movies nowadays are just very high budget movies of people in rooms talking, which is, it's okay. But then you get movies like Terrifier and he's sawing this girl in half when she's upside down naked, and it looks real, looks amazing. And it's just, I think people, they think, oh, it's a thing of society, it's what we like to see. It's like, I don't think, it's not like we're watching real like snuff videos or like dark web stuff. No, it's like, it's just, we like the escape. We like seeing, douchebags at the pool smoking a joint, like, oh, what's going on? Then their head gets cut off and the blood is splitting on the girl's face. And like, that's the kind of stuff people like to do and like to see. So I like this whole era of horror. And the horror comedy I love because everyone's trying to one up each other now. You know, we got Screamboat. It's kind of like Steamboat Willie, and then you got like, you know, like people are really trying to make up their own. Like, you know, there could be something like, oh, Attack of the Killer Corn, and it's like, you know, like stalks of corn, and maybe it kills people. That sounds stupid. It could be, but it's still fun, and people
Rubber, a tire about a movie about a killer tire.
Rubber. I thought that was going to be so stupid, and I really liked that
It
one.
was good. Yeah, it had some heart.
Yeah, so I love yeah, no, I've always loved filmmaking. I did the first thing I ever made when I was a senior, I made my own movie just about me, and which was kind of like what the cartoon was. I made a live action version, and I wore like a wig and everything, and I was like playing myself younger, and I just got my friends together, and that was just kind of how I was really inspired by Kevin Smith. I just like the whole do it yourself. Like, hey, I'm here at school. I have access to this school. I don't have to pay any money. Like, let me film while I'm here. And the only story I knew how to tell was my own. And so I try to tell other people, like, you know, how do you get into movies? How do you make movies? Just start with one. Make one thing. Use it as a building block. Like, and no, the movie didn't like get noticed and get me anywhere, but it just made me go on to the next thing, and you just start building from that. And it started with, you know, I made YouTube shorts, and I was, you know, just drawing comic books and stuff, and eventually, you know, I kind of merged the two. So I really like animation because I feel like there I get to really steer the ship. And I was telling you earlier, I love that there's no restriction. It's like, oh, I want to draw a couch on fire. I can do that. I don't have to. I can draw the Titanic sinking. Like, there's no budget, no restriction, and I really get to. Love to edit, and I'm sure you can attest to that. You love editing too.
I do.
That's where I get like that. That's the fun part to me. I love filming too. I love the voice acting, but it's when I'm sitting down and I have all the pieces and you just put it together. You know,
editing is like it's its own thing. Like, you have to be somebody that can sit in front of a computer for hours and hours and hours and like watch the same thing over and make the tiniest little adjustments. I'm not a perfectionist in anything, which is weird. Like, but when I edit, I'm on point. Like, it has to be perfect. Like, I really put so much time and effort into it. But I want to address what you brought up earlier about Terrifier and stuff like that. I think we live in a day and age where it's like, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's true yet. There's so much fake nonsense when you're on, like, you know, social media these days. I think they're making another Jeepers Creepers movie. It's like, all right, do we need another? Like, Terrifier was at least refreshing. Like, okay, we've seen clowns before, but they did it in a different way. They were more brutal. They went over the top with it. So I think in today's day and age, like, I would rather see something that's different, that pays off like that, that's just hasn't been told 100,000 times or is told differently enough like that. And again, the fact that it was done by like essentially a lesser known independent company. Another movie that comes to mind, did you ever see The Barn?
Yes.
The Barn was a banger. Like, that was another movie that had no business being as good as it was. It had like that 80s aesthetic to it, super good. I'm pretty sure they came out with a Barn 2, and I think they're working on a Barn 3, if I'm not mistaken right now. I'll be honest, I didn't see the second one. I don't think it did nearly as good. They tried to crowdfund it, and I was shocked that it didn't do better because the first one had so much heart and soul. So it is nice to see things like that coming back around. And then, you know, you had talked a lot about how you kind of incorporate all those things into your art. Like, it makes sense that animation is where you would fall because you essentially get to act in it.
Yeah.
And then what's cool is, like, you do it through the voice, but you also get to do it like through the motions and the mannerisms that you would want each character to have. I didn't know you did all the voices. That's actually super cool. And then to have people like Chris step in and help out, that just adds so much flavor to what you're doing. So again, like, the insight on that, I mean, that's wild. If there was somebody new that wanted to get into animation, where could they start? Like, what's something that they could do?
I say if you got an iPad, well, like, the thing is, the first season, I did that all on my phone. I did that. I had the pencil, a phone. I do all the things you would do on a bigger screen. I just did it smaller. Then I upgraded to an iPad. Literally, there's free apps. There are simple movie editors. That's all you need. Like, with this show, the characters, I put them against a green backdrop, then I put them in the scene, and it's literally just, yeah, it's acting through the pencil, and it's just, yeah, figuring out how everything, just once you get the sound, just get the soundtrack first, make a recording, almost like it's a radio show or a podcast. Like, if you can hear it, then you can see it. Like, some people make an animation of like a podcast that when someone's talking and they're telling a story, draw that, make that kind of thing. So there's apps like Flip a Clip, where you literally like this thing called the onion. So when you think of like flipping through a sticky notes, it's like, that's really hard, but on the iPad it shows you a little shadow of the last thing you did, so you could just move it again. It's like, all right, here's the next frame. So like, this, then you go like that, and then you draw that, and then you draw that. So now the whole thing goes like that. And if you have the patience for it, like once you realize it, and yeah, it really does become really fun. And with the editing, like I'll put my head down, 3 hours will go by, and I'm like, oh shit, and just, yeah. So if you want to get into it, if you like animation, then do it, I say. And yeah, just it, even if it's you're not that good yet, like this is my first project, and for me, I thought the style looks very South Parky. To me, it looks like a high school kid drew it in his notebook, and that's what really the story is. And it's all from my mind and how the doodles used to look, and now they come to life and everything. And yeah, so I say just self-start. Same thing with film too. If you want to be in movies or make movies, just make that first one.
100%. I say the same thing about writing all the time. Like, actually, KT said it the best. I think she said, get it on paper, then make it perfect, something along those lines. And I mean, that's the truest thing. It's interesting to hear that. Well, I guess it's not. I mean, I always talk about how sound is the most important thing. So the fact that you start with sound first, because realistically, you could almost make it like a radio show, and then you just make the animations and the things over that. So I think you're absolutely right. Like, just jumping in and doing it, getting those skill sets. But were there any like books or YouTube videos or people that you like watched or learned from that have helped you out along the way?
That's the thing too. Yeah, YouTube is like, we were just talking about how we have so much today that we don't like. Back in like the 90s, 80s, it's like you can go to school for animation. I'm not trying to knock that, but a lot of schools you go to, you pay all this money, you get to the classroom, you got all your tools, and the teacher will go, all right, today we're going to learn how to make a bouncing ball. And that's good to start. He goes on his computer, goes to YouTube, pulls it up on the screen, and we're all watching YouTube. And that just blows my mind. Like, okay, I will just do that at home on my own time. And when they're done the class and you learn everything, the first thing they tell you is, okay, go make your first thing. So really, just go make your first thing. Don't wait for anyone to give you, like, that's something Kevin Smith said. Don't wait for someone to give you an opportunity. Make the opportunity for yourself. Like, just go and start with that. And because of the show, I was able to actually get other jobs. A movie I just did, The Inn, there's a opening where there's a commercial, and they asked me, do you want to make it for us? It's supposed to be animated. And I was like, hell yeah. And so now that's in the movie. And so it can help you. It's like people, it's like, oh, I want to have a job. Oh, what's your experience? Well, that's the thing. So just do shit for free. Make it, show what you can do that can help you stand out, and people will find you, and people will want to like gravitate towards it and everything.
Yeah. Again, I saw the heart and the soul that went into like what you were doing. I think it's super cool. Again, now hearing the backstory and getting to hear that like it's part of your life and all that. I think it's even more interesting. I'm going to get caught up, and I can't wait for season 2 now. I'm going to support it. You'll see us out there throwing down the comments and likes on it. We'll get back to acting a little bit, though. What got you into acting? Was it kind of the same thing that you did some animation? The next logical step was...
Well, I've been acting since I was young. I was in like children's theater. My mom was a Girl Scout leader, and I have 2 sisters, and my mom would put on these acts for our school talent show every year. So in kindergarten, it was the Monster Mash, and I was Frankenstein. So, and my mom made like this whole dance with all the Girl Scouts. We had vampires and werewolves and a mad scientist. She had us do a dance. The next year we did A Knight's Tale. Year after that, I did Indiana Jones. I started kind of saying what I wanted to do. 3rd grade, this was when Revenge of the Sith came out, so me and my friends were like crazy about Star Wars, so we did Star Wars. Then 4th grade, I did the Napoleon Dynamite dance because I was obsessed with that, and I loved doing that every year. Most people have like, the baseball game to look forward to. For me, it was the talent show. I just wanted to do that, and I always was picking movie ideas. So 5th grade, I started making home videos just with the cassette tapes, that was back when it was like, you got to get it right on this take, and that's it. You know, you can't. Then middle school, I learned how to edit, which definitely was a lot easier. And yeah, I think forever I always wanted to be in film. Before I didn't know you could be in the TV. Like when you're that young, you kind of think there's, at least for me, I thought the TV was its own world. The things you're watching are just that's happening right now. Even if it's a rerun, that's their life. And I always knew I wanted to do that. So yeah, started in theater. Then fifth grade, I got to middle school, and there were no talent shows anymore. And those talent shows, my mom is directing, so you know I'm always the star kind of thing. I had to learn how to really audition, and that was really scary. So middle school, I kind of shut off and stopped doing theater. I got too shy. But making videos at home, I felt I could, you know, make something I wanted to and edit it myself and then put it out there. And then when high school ended, I got back into community theater and then just started with shorts. I started being an extra and stuff. Then I started doing student films. And then you just, you know, you meet people like Chris Salvi on the sets, and me and him were an extra in something, and he showed me what he was into. And when I saw there was this whole world in New England that people like are making films and people are making their own stuff, and then you just start branching out, and just more people you meet. I tell people movies are people. That's what I say. You know, yeah, it's money, it's creativity, but it's people. It's like I want to go make a people. Let's go do a people. That's what it is. It's all moving parts, and I got to really respect all of them over the years.
I like that. And honestly, shout out to your mom for being like that creative and like motivating. You know, it sounds like she's what spilled over and like helped you bloom into your creativeness.
She
It's
is.
like I just not everybody's creative, and I wasn't up until like the last few years, so I understand it. But I just think like to instill that on your children it's so important. It's just it's a trait that's like I wouldn't trade this for anything. Being creative is one of my favorite things in the world, and like to get exposed that young and like at that high of a level is like that's awesome, you know.
Yeah.
When you look for a project now, how do you go about it? Are you auditioning? Are you kind of working with people that you've worked with in the past, or?
It's a little bit of both. And the best thing to do, again, back to the whole thing with the internet, it used to be you had to go to LA and you had to send in a VHS tape in the mail and wait to come back. Like nowadays, you can email it. You can go on backstage.com, New England Film. There are these sites that will have casting calls, and you make your own reel, and it doesn't even have to be from real stuff. Like you can make your own, like have a clip of you crying in the shower and just put, yeah, it's from the Sad Man cartoon, you know, movie or whatever, and put it together, show what you can do, and put these all together, and just really just show yourself. And you can literally send it to people all over, and you can make connections that way. And it's a lot. I mean, it's a hard business, but I think it's easier than it would be if this was the 90s, like, or 80s. It would be a lot harder, I think. It was only one way. Then like there's all doors into the industry. Everyone's trying to get in through the front door, but there's back doors, there's the attic, there's all this stuff. So I say, yeah, just start with that first thing, and yeah, just see where it goes.
When you're auditioning out there in today's day and age, how do you feel like the market is? Like, how do you feel like the industry is doing right now? Do you feel like you're getting enough decent projects, or is it?
It's like very like it's crazy. I also tell people go to Facebook, go type in feature, casting call, recent posts, click, and then things will come up, and in real time you see what's getting made, and you can go and research who they are. You know, there's so much scams out there, but you can research, oh, this person's done this, okay, then all right, let me try this. And I think, yeah, people are always looking for help, and a lot of it is unpaid. And like for the first like 8 years, like I did a lot of stuff for free, and I didn't regret it. I got like small parts, and those movies went on to go to film festivals in LA, and I got to go to the red carpet, and then it got distributed, and it's on DVD, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even get paid for this. Like, so I know people like to like say, oh, I know my worth, you gotta pay me. That's good, but I think when you're starting out, no, do it all for free. Do what you just like to do. Just get yourself out there. And yeah, I get good at auditioning, is what I say. Just be good at, like, it's like they say, go out and bomb. If you're a stand-up, it's like if you go out and you get booed, like that's just gonna help you. So I just kept auditioning, and I was not good at them at first. It was like, so eventually just got good. Remember the Magic School Bus?
Oh, absolutely.
Miss Frizzle said,
Yep.
If you fail, figure out why." Some people say, if you fail, just try again. It's like, yes, but also think about what you did. Like, I always would look back at my auditions, and if I didn't, sometimes with growth, of course, you can be like, oh, I don't like how I did that. But yeah, get used to watching yourself. I don't understand how some actors are like, oh, I don't like watching myself. It's like, I mean, I like it. It can be awkward. It can, but like, no, if you really want to get good at it, it's all like when we looked at ourselves in the mirror, when we play pretend with our friends. Like, you're in the woods with your friend and you have a stick and you're pulling it from a rock. Like, you believed that was a sword in the stone, like, and your friend did too, and no one witnessed it, but you didn't care. You act like it's not there. The camera's not there.
Yeah. Again, it takes a special type of person to be able to throw themselves into somebody that's not them, but at such a high level. And again, if there's people around you, you're kind of, maybe you're nervous and you can't immerse yourself as much, but the best actors don't care. They can do it at any time. And that's where the true talent comes in, because I think there's so many things that go into it. Kayla, when we had her on the podcast, she talked a lot about there's some actors that look at it, are you telling the truth or are you lying about who you are? So there's a lot of like existential differences and things that you have to think about and consider just even going into the part. And then I would imagine a big part of it comes down to like the energy of the crew and like how the set's going and things like that, because I've worked on a couple different sets. I like to do my own stuff for the majority of time, but like every set I've worked on has been wildly different every single time. I worked on one set where we lugged gear back and forth from this room, to all this gear that we never even used. And I'm like, this is cool. But like, I think the director, I don't like mean to like diss him when I say this, but I think he likes gear more than he likes filmmaking. Like, I think he likes the trinkets to it. And it cost us because we didn't use a lot of the gear and it was a lot of downtime. I've worked with directors that are like, they move a little too fast sometimes. It's like, yep, that's good. It's like, well, no, it's not. Hold on. Everybody knows that can be better. Like, yeah, we have that take, but like, let's slow down and like, can we improve on that? And I'm not saying you have to stop when you think you get, everything printable, but I think we do need to slow down at times and really be like, is my goal to get to the end of this project to put it out? Or is my goal to make something that I'm really proud of? And when I put it out, we're all going to be like, yep.
Yeah. It's are we just finishing up because we want to go to lunch, or like for example, if you're doing a scene where someone's in a desert and you're sitting there and you got sweat, it's a fake sweat, and you kind of want to like really in the scene let the viewer think I'm in a desert and I'm exhausted. Well, I think part of that is like, you're on set all day. It is long days. I think use that, like, and yeah, make it look like it's real. Make it just be there. If you're there, the camera will get it. And yeah, sometimes it just feels like, oh, that was rushed. Oh, I feel like this didn't go as well. And yeah, the more I like to just, that's why when you start early and you get the take, it's like, all right, let's do another one. And then let's play with this one. Because 9 times out of 10, the take where you kind of play is the one they're going to use. And yeah, keep doing stuff and just keep looking at the footage and just seeing how you can improve, and how sometimes movies fall on the editing. It can fall on the writing. I mean, even something could be written bad, but it's like the quality was still good. Joker too.
Again, it's the way that the lines are delivered too. I've said this before, and I don't want to be insulting to any writers, but for me personally, it's not. Yes, what's on the page is very important, but to me, it's like the way it comes out of the actor or actress, and sometimes they have to change it because it needs to be more real to them or fit them better. And that's my favorite part about it, when you actually see it come to life. So I really enjoy that. But you're right. It's being believable. It's pulling yourself into it and making the audience like believe what you're selling, because it's fake, but they shouldn't know that. What are some of your styles? Are you like a method actor, or what do you do? How do you prepare for a role and get into it?
I think there's safe ways to method act. I think some people, yeah, I know there's some people who take it too far. Like, if you're playing a bully, they'll like, be a dick on set or something. But it's like, no, you don't have to do that. But if you want to like, I think the best way to get, if I'm playing a bully and I'm bullying some kids younger than me, like, I like to get close with the kids and hang out with them. Like, just because it's when you goof around with your friends and you're comfortable, that's when it, like, some people look at each other like, you're mean to your friends, you're fake mean, and they know you're joking, but that's really what helps. Like, another safe way to method act is if your character has a limp, like, no, you don't have to hurt yourself, but if you put a pebble in your shoe and you have that little thing that just kind of keeps you off your leg, that helps. And I think with me, it's as pretentious as it sounds, you just retreat to the text. You're reading it, it's like, how do I do this? Well, read it again, and you kind of go in with one idea, and you have to kind of be prepared for it to be changed, especially in the audition part. You don't go to get a job, you go to do the job. Like, I like to just pretend, no, it's not an audition, this is the scene. I'm gonna show what I would do if we were on set, action, doing what that is. And sometimes it's not quite what they want, and if they say, okay, I like that, but can you do it like this? Like, you gotta have something in your toolbox to be like, okay, and be okay with take that down, all right, like here, you're going too fast, okay, and just learning to take the direction, because it's never personal. It's They're just gonna make you look better. And so I think yeah, with the kind of my style, I guess, is like, yeah, just figuring out what it is, what I can add to it. And I think wardrobe helps. I think that helps tell a story. Like, when you have a character who's he's got his hat on, but it's like, like, even wearing it backwards, that tells more of a story about the character, because maybe none of the other characters have hats. Or, my feet are up on the coffee table, like, my character is kind of arrogant that way. There's things you can do to, like, kind of be method without being, but yeah.
That brings a question that I've been struggling with. I'm curious to see what you think about this. So lately I've been wondering, I'm somebody that believes, like, don't tell, show, like, it don't use too much exposition. However, I feel like now we live in a day and age where if you don't reinforce things sometimes a little bit, you lose the audience, because they're not following along. So now when I'm writing, there's times where I find myself really struggling, because I'm like, all right, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, would I have put this in the script? Well, no. But I feel like if I don't make it an emphasis here, it might get lost on the viewer, even though it was already explained, because I feel like we've lost our attention to, well, number one, we're watching media on smaller screens now, cell phones for the most part. Lindsay DeLand had told me she watches movies on her cell phone and on TikTok, of all places. They break it up into parts. And I was like, oh goodness. Like, when you wanted to show me something earlier before we started, I was like, no, I threw it up on the big screen. Like, I need to see it on something like big, like that makes me feel like I'm immersed into it. So I think there's a lot of things that are changing and going on. But do you find, like, in your writing and what you're doing, do you have to kind of come back and throw another softball to keep people's attention?
I like to, when I write it out, I like to, write the scene out, and then maybe after like a few minutes, I'll go back and just read it again, because 5 minutes from now, that version of you is different from the 5 minutes ago. And sometimes you revisit something and you're like, oh no, I think this will be better. Or that's an unnecessary line. That doesn't really move. And like, that doesn't work. And you kind of like, yeah, after, especially once you see it, like, once I made the first episode, I was able to see the characters and be like, okay, now where would I want them to go? I got all my toys, they're all my action figures, and you're just playing with them. So yeah, no, I think that the writing is really where it starts. And I think everyone has a voice. Like, even if you've never written before and you want to get into it, like, everyone's voice is unique. You just don't know it. If you have a way of telling a story, or the way you like to show things, like, it's gonna be interesting to somebody, and I think sometimes it is good, make something for you. Like, for me, I wanted to make a cartoon of me and my friends, like, because I mean, as much as some shows are like this, I don't know too many shows that are about stoner kids. Like, sometimes you get a South Park episode, but it's really hard to get stuff on TV where people are smoking. But it's such a big thing in the show because it's so honest. It really is what our school was. It's how we acted. And you never see a lot of shows about the kids that no one, the kids who were under the bleachers. Like, no one really gets to see stuff like that. And I like making my friends stars in a way. I like showing them all, like, as if they're like, like these iconic characters, because they are to me in a way.
Well, yeah, no, I love that. You had said something earlier on that where you said, step away from it and come back and look at it again, because you'll look at it different. You're not the same person. The Stoics have a saying that says the same person can't step into the same river, because he is not the same person and that is not the same river, right? Meaning everything always changes all the time. So you're absolutely right about that. I was working on a couple projects that I've brought up a few times here, and I got motivated the other day. I'm working on a completely new project, and a few times already, I've gotten to like 12, 13 pages, knocked it back down to 6. I'm at like 3 pages right now. I know where I want to go with it, but it's like, every time you work on something, it just gets better and better and better. But it's that same thing. It's like, I start it one day, and when I come back the next day, I'll leave that writing session like, yes, like, I think I figured this out. I locked it in. Like, that's it. I come back the second day, I sit down, I look at it, I'm like, the was I thinking?
No.
Like, I thought that was the best. So like, you have to do that. You have to get that separation and like come back and look at it with fresh eyes. So I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's like a really like, I mean, you look at when I look at videos I made in high school, I'll be like, oh God, like, sometimes I'm like, that was really funny. But then other times I'm like, why did I think that was funny? And yeah, so I think just like a boxer, just let your hands go. Just keep writing, keep writing. People, they get scared of, like, they look at the whole picture like, I can't write a whole book. It's like, you don't have to. Write just the first chapter. Start there. Then next day do another chapter, and then, go back. And sometimes it's best just to write it out, then go back and see what you didn't like and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you can't do that until it's actually on the page and it's real. I mean, I hold a lot of stories in my head, but you can only get so far before you lose track of everything that's going on. But once you start getting onto the page, again, make it real and then make it perfect. I think you get it down. And the other thing too is, like, especially in today's day and age, all my writing I do in Final Draft. So there's so many there's like title card views you can do. There's beat boards you can use. There's, you can have it generate you how many scenes there are, how many locations there are, and you can find all that information. And I think for me, sometimes I need that exploded view so I can really hold on to the story and make sure that everything's perfect, because from writing and all of these things, like, we have to follow either the 3-act structure or the 4-act structure for the most part. So like, you want your story to hit certain beats and make sense and, have things done at certain times. Is there any other projects that you have coming on? I know you've got Ochre High Season 2 getting ready to drop in April. Link in the description below. Get ready to check it out. Go watch Season 1 right now. But is there anything else you got on the horizon?
I got The Art of Killing is coming out, and which is like, what if Bob Ross was a murderer? And it's takes place in the 80s, and it was made by a man named Jacob Enos. He's in Kentucky. It's so it takes place in the South and everything, and it's really, really dark, really funny. And I got that. I got Skate to Hell just came out.
I just rented that on Amazon, actually. Yeah, I just watched that.
Oh, yeah,
I did. Yeah,
you watched the whole thing?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I fell asleep probably the last 20 minutes because I rented it at like 10:30 at night, and normally I'm sleeping by like 9:30, but I wanted to check it out.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you remember. I was in hell. I was the character with cocaine, and I was like, oh, come on, devil, like, take some of this. And that was cool. That was made by Sean C. Phillips, who I'm doing a movie with next month again. This is our third together. The one we're doing is called Lost Media, and it's about a group of actors. I play one of the actors. We think we're getting picked up to go do a movie, but instead we get kidnapped by these escaped mental patients, and these mental patients go make the craziest movie ever with these actors. And that's in 2006. Years later, this like news reporter or like journalist, she finds this guy on the street who was like in the movie, and he can't talk about it, and she's finally gets her hands on the movie, and they want to show it. So the movie has a movie within a movie, and they show this crazy movie on her talk show, and it's got some cool names in it, like Spencer Breslin and James DeBello, who I love if you like Cabin Fever, and I got the guy who played Harold from Hey Arnold is in it. It's gonna be cool. He gets a lot of cool like people to play cameos and all that. And I have another cartoon I'm trying to get on a platform, and that's called RZR, and that's about a nerd who gets a dating app that magically matches him with different women in time. So one episode he matches with a princess. One episode it's a girl on the Titanic. One's an alien, and that's played by Tori Jock. And so I like to do different kind of ideas and all that. And same structure, 10-minute episodes, just new thing each time. And you just swipe till you match. And the character is not based on anyone. He's just what I like to call an incel. And he just arrogant, obviously is not good with the ladies for good reasons, but I think the time travel is just secondary. He doesn't care that he's in medieval times. He's just trying to get the princess to go out with him and everything. And so I got that going on, and I just did another horror movie in New Hampshire called Shiver, and it's a Christmas horror movie, and I got to go to a ski lodge and everything, and there's people like Lydia Manson and the devil from Skate to Hell's in it, Robert Lasardo, and it's been great. Some of these people, it's their second project I'm working with, and some of them it's their first, and that's another thing I try to impress on people is that let the be, like, go to set, do your job, be good. You don't have to kiss ass, but just do what you're supposed to do. They will remember that. They had a good time with you, they'll ask you to come back. So yeah, I got a few things coming, and yeah, this whole year, I think a lot of them will be on streaming. And if you guys are still into physical media, which I know I am, you can get it on DVD too.
Okay, so we talked about a little bit if somebody wanted to start trying animation, how they could get into that. Do you have any acting techniques or tips that you'd give somebody if they were thinking about dipping their toe into that?
My advice: start. But it's
Very similar to the first advice for animation.
yes, I say start. If you really want to be an actor, get a reel. That's what they want. They want to see how you are on camera. So again, make something fake. Make a reel where you're playing like 4 different characters. Make something up. Make it with friends. Do something like that. Put it out there. Put yourself out there, and just keep sending it. So you email like 8 different directors, like, oh hi, I'd like to audition. You might not hear from any of them, but the 9th one you message, you might. And then you get to go to round 2 and you audition and you don't get it. And then the next one, you don't get that one. But the one after that, you still might not get it. But then the one after that, you have to keep thinking you will, because then once you do start getting them, the dry spells are shorter, the work starts coming in more. So I think just starting is the hardest part. So I'd say just do that.
Well, once you make those connections, that's the hard part, right? But once you find the good connections, you kind of mentioned that there's some people out there, maybe they're dicks, whatever. I hear you, get through it, always stay professional, but I'm somebody treats me like that, I'm walking off. I'm not,
and that's fine too.
I do this because I love it. I have a very low threshold for what I'll tolerate, as far as like I get that people do their things in a certain way, but like for me, like art is fun. And there are people that are a lot more serious and they are more stressed out, and I'm not knocking them for that, but that's just not why I do this. It's tough, but there's a lot riding on people, right? It is a stressful thing. It's like you have all these people's times. Sometimes you have investors breathing down your neck and they want something done. You have to hope that you make something good that people like. In today's day and age, who knows what people are going to like or what they're going to flock to, or you can put all this time into something and it flops. And then it's like, people talk about it all the time. They're like, oh yeah, the social media project or the YouTube video that I spent the last 30 hours on to import my heart and soul into got 300 views. The stupid clip that I didn't even edit and I threw up there got 10,000 views.
Yeah, Haktua just got...
Yeah, exactly, right? And it breaks my heart because like, I think about this often. I'm like, it's just so sad that somebody like that can make that kind of money. But there's like a 13 or 14-year-old girl in some school that just won some award for being like so smart or figuring out a problem that has like something so amazing, nobody cares and nobody's ever going to hear about it.
Yeah.
That girl says that and we give her a platform and make her famous.
And I give it to her, like, well, I try to tell people, like, yeah, I kind of knocking her, but I'm also like, I also tell people, no, use that. Like, no, you can't just always say something funny. And like, if I was on the news and said something like, yeah, eat my dick, like eat my and it's like, that's not going to be on a sweater most likely, but you just never know what is going to like, look at Clerks, look at Terrifier, they go into it with a good intention and it can just grow and have legs. And if it pisses you off about like, oh, what, this person did this dumb thing and it's getting, well, okay, make your dumb thing or make it not dumb. And if you think you can do better, you probably can. Like Kevin Smith, I come back to a lot. He saw Slackers and he thought, wow, this is low budget. Like this counts as a movie and it's good. I can do that. And if you think you can, you probably can. And just so go do it. And I think, yeah, it could be like, that song, again, we're talking about dicks here. That song, My Dick, it was an old song. The guys who made it were like, we were making music for years. And then that one we just did because we were like, let's make something silly and stupid. And boom, it's like the biggest song they ever made. And they're like, what the f***? And, but it works. So I just say, just throw everything at the wall, see what sticks.
I've talked about this a lot with my buddies and especially in the filmmaking community. Think about this. You play sports, so you work your entire life to maybe have one game where there may be a scout to show up and notice you out of everybody else on the field. Every single time we make a piece of media, content, whatever it is, that's your Hail Mary. That's you potentially getting seen, but you have the same chance, right? Like that's your golden ticket to potentially fly out there. So the more stuff that you put out, the more chances you really do have of something catching up. What people don't understand is like you have a lot of these accounts, these new accounts, they'll have something that blows up early on, but if there's no sustenance and people can't follow it, instantly fizzles out and it does nothing for them. People don't stick around. So like I think the most successful channels are the people that grind and do put in the time. And like you said, you throw enough darts that when something sticks, people can go back and still see your back catalog worth of work to know that like, oh, you're legit and you've been around.
Yes, and it's like almost I also push social media, put your stuff out there, you know, because the social media pages are just like websites nowadays. And a website you got to pay for, and you can go that route. But I think social media, even if you don't have a lot of followers, just have the content, have a place for people to come and, you know, tag people, have hashtags, have collaborate, just keep doing that, and people will see you working with other people that they know, and they see what you're capable of. And I think, yeah, risk being seen. That's what I say. Just,
Oh, I like that.
you know, just because, yeah, people don't want to audition for the school play because they're like, well, what if I embarrass myself at the audition? Well, it's like, you might do it anyway. And because like, what's the worst that happens? You fail and you just go on to something else. So yeah, I'd say just go into it. I personally, when I started, before I got into any movie, I told myself, you know what, the first probably dozens of movies I do will probably not get good ratings and people might not know of them. But I just never cared. Not that I don't care. Like, I want it to be good, but I won when I got the part. And if you just keep treating it like that, then you'll eventually get good stuff, and you got a whole like resume of like work that you can only get better and stuff. So.
I love that you just said that I won when I got the part, because that's what I said about my last short. There's some things that aren't perfect, but when I got back that second night, I said it doesn't matter what happens to the rest of this. Like, just those 2 days of shooting, I had already won. Like, I got this. So it's tough because, like, again, we're on camera. We want to watch what we say, and we don't want it to come across like we don't care about. I get exactly what you mean by that. We care very much, but like we care more about the opportunity to create than if it's gonna get blow up. Like, the thing is, like, the only reason I want views on this is because it's like I want people to see all the hard work that the guests, you know, put into what they do that come on the show. It's like, you know, I hope that after this, I hope more people go on and watch your animations, because I can't even imagine how much time and effort it comes into thinking about that. Like, again, it's not even just about the project itself. You had to learn how to do all the animation. You have to do sound design. You have to work on script. I mean, if you really broke it down, as artists, I think a lot of times we take a lot of this work and we're like, well, we just love it, so that's something we just did. But at the end of the day, that's actually time that you put into a project, right? If you broke that down, it doesn't matter. Even if you were making $1,000 a month off YouTube, which most people don't, it's still probably not even going to come close to touching like what the man hours go into that you put into your project.
And also, like, when I first started the animation, the pilot took maybe a year because I was working on it on and off, and it was like I felt like it was a learning curve for me. I was trying to see if I could do it, but then I started learning more techniques. Now I can make a 10-minute episode in a week. I can do that. And it's all just sometimes before work, I work on it. Then after work, I go and work on it. And if you enjoy it, it's not really work. And just a little goes a long way, you know, back to what we said, like do a chapter a day. Like eventually you're going to have a whole book. Yeah.
Well, on to the point of you just said, it's not work. Like, that's the way I see it too. I think if this is something you want to get into, it is a lot of work. And I think that's what people don't understand. I mean, I mention it all the time. It's when you have those last few hours to go and everybody's tired, the food's wearing off, you don't have budget to get any more, so you're kind of stretching out those last few hours. People have long rides home. This is their weekend that's gone. It's like you want people to feel really good about the project. You want people to, you know, show up and be their best, but you need good people that are dedicated and truly understand like what this entails, because it's weird. It's one of those things. I heard somebody say once, they're like, well, you wouldn't, you know, pay a friend to play football with you like in your backyard. They're not wrong. I mean, filmmaking's not exactly the same. I think if any project ever did make money and you don't come back and take care of the people that helped you, I think you're a jerk.
Right.
But I think if you're not making money, I mean, he's not wrong. Like, I think at a minimum, if you're going to put something on where you have that chance, like you need to provide people food and you need to be able to provide them with like, not just you were in my project, like they need to take the time to send you stuff for your reel.
Yeah.
They need to take the time to send you behind the scenes photos, you know, any of those things that you can use to promote yourself, because we talk about it on the show a lot and I hate it. Like, I'm using Instagram more now. It's just like, it's a better platform. I think there's less on it. Like, there's, you know, you see people's projects and stuff like that. I think it's a much healthier platform. But unfortunately, Facebook, for me, when I get a project going, the first thing I do is I start a Facebook group. I get everybody in a message because I can send PDFs, I can send video, I can send anything that I need to out of this one ecosystem and keep everybody connected. But the problem is, you know, you pull out young actors or actresses that are like 25 or younger and they don't have Facebook. So you're bouncing between these like multiple platforms and trying to make it work. But we've talked about it. It's like, that's how important social media is. It's not just for the communication and to even get found, but like, you have to have a presence. If somebody reaches out to me to do something and I go on and they don't have anything in their repertoire, makes me a little nervous. And not because it's like they're not going to be good, but it's like, you don't actually know this person. Like, you don't know if it's an AI bot at this point. Like, you have to have a footnote to even prove that like you are real. And now it's crazy out there. You could have a video call conversation with somebody and that's not the person you're talking to.
Right.
You never had to deal with this back in the day. My wife works for a company. They had to hire a company specifically because they work fully remote. They have to make sure nobody's doing that, where they're like faking the people who they are, whether it's for like resumes or people that already work there. That's such a crazy concept. We never had to think about like that.
Well, yeah, there's actually there's projects all over America. I've seen people make like an Indiegogo for their project, and they're like, I'm making this animated movie, and it shows these the characters, and they're all these AI concept things. Now, I think the AI concepts are a good idea for when you're casting and you want to show people what the character looks like. But this one person was showing all the like the animated characters, and they like, I remember looking at it like, okay, this guy fed that into an AI machine and he's showing that, and people were signing up for the movie, but I was looking around, he didn't have anything else, like no experience. And there we go, 2 years later, people are like, is this still going? People are getting high on the endorphins of when you put out there, I'm making a movie. Like, that's good, but sometimes that gives you the endorphins that are the same as when you do accomplish something but you haven't done anything yet. And a lot of people are saying, well, I'm gonna do it. That's also good, but are you gonna do it? And this guy and specifically has never done animation, and the people just kind of took his word for it, and I hope they didn't, lose money or anything like that. But like, so you got to kind of look out for scams. And AI has just eaten itself in this past year. And we were saying earlier about these like posters. Like, I'll see like oh, coming soon, White Chicks 2, and it's like Jim Carrey and he's in blackface, and people are like, oh, I can't wait, and I'm like, this isn't real. This is not real. Like, you should know it's, but the Facebook page has the little blue check mark, and sometimes the page will even say fake movies, and that's fine. But like a what if, I get that, but now it's like, everyone is doing that. So it's good to like the people who are using AI, they will be outed, and it's good to just separate yourself from that. I was scared with the show people were going to think it's AI, but I like to upload behind the scenes and show people exactly how I do it, so that like everything I showed you on the trailer, in the show, every movement is me, every choice is me, every voice is me for the most part. And like that makes it, your handwriting is what you have a drawing, you have your art, and like AI doesn't have your flaws. Your flaws is what makes it good. Like, my characters are janky little things because I'm was a janky little thing. I was a doodler. These are little doodles, and it just, AI can't capture that. And I think people need to just, yeah, it's kind of like what Guitar Hero did for, people are, oh yeah, like I'm really playing, I did like 8 songs last night, all on hard. It's like, okay, what if you spent that time learning a real guitar? And I'm a hypocrite, I played Guitar Hero, but it's one of those things, you just gotta, yeah, people are uploading like, oh, the AI pictures of them, and it's like a painting. Yeah, it's cool, it's awesome, but it makes me sad that, man, you used to be able to, like a guy who does Garbage Pail Kids art, you used to be able to, that guy could make money with like commissions and stuff, but now it's like, AI, make me a Garbage Pail Kid. Boom, it's there. And that scares the shit out of me, it does. But I think, I don't know how long it'll last. I think eventually people are gonna, like the Zendaya and Tom Holland fake wedding photos are up, and she's like, this isn't us. And that's not offensive, but something can be. But yeah, I say just be creative, just come up with your own stuff, like use your voice. Everyone's voice is different, and yeah, man, it's crazy out there. But use the internet. It's a toxic place, but man, is it it's a good tool. Like, it's a good thing to use. So
that's how you reach out to me, and that's why you're sitting here now from it. So it definitely works. But my dude, it was honestly wonderful having you on the show. if people wanted to find out more information about you, plug your socials, where can people find you? It will all be in the link in the description below, but go ahead and hit them with it.
You can find me on Facebook, Connor Holden. My Instagram is Connor is Holden. And then YouTube is Ochre High, or youtube.com/@Ochre High. And you can check my IMDb when I have stuff coming up and are in the making. And I like to post behind the scenes stuff and when things are getting made, just to keep everyone in the loop. And but yeah, thanks for having me, man.
I should have asked this right before I asked that last question, but is there anything that you need? Are you looking for voice people? Are you like, what could people do to help you out other than just liking the content, subscribing, sharing?
If you want to be in the show, just message me. It's that easy. Literally just message me, and you don't have to have a fancy microphone. You can just send me your voice through voice message. I'll clean it up best I can. And go in your closet. Like it's talking to your phone and just play around with it. And I think anyone can do it, and I think it's good to, it can get you into more, once you have on your reel you as a cartoon person, then other people will say, oh, well, want to be in my animation, and it just goes from there.
Awesome. Well, it was wonderful having you on, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Stay safe, stay creative.